I now give the floor to the distinguished permanent representative of Palau.
Mr. President, Secretary General, Excellencies, colleagues, Palau aligns itself with the statements made by Antigua and Barbuda on behalf of AOSIS and Fiji on behalf of the Pacific Islands Forum. We additionally make the following statement in our national capacity. As a Pacific Blue Ocean state, Palau's livelihoods and economy are deeply connected to the ocean, but we rely on the ocean for more than just financial and economic gain. We rely on it for sustenance, for rejuvenation, for recreation and play, and it's intrinsically linked to our identities as island people. Palau has always championed the ocean for the very reason that as ocean people, we don't know who we would be without it. We're proud to have co-hosted the 7th Our Ocean Conference with the United States this year and raised over $16 billion in commitments for oceans. We thank the United States for their camaraderie and partnership, and the many member states who took the long journey to Palau to deliver on this very important work. Over the past 40 years, UNCLOS has played a vital role in guaranteeing and safeguarding oceanic rights and entitlements that Palau has heavily relied on. As we reflect on its 40th year, we applaud the great achievement of UNCLOS in providing governance, facilitating dialogue, and being a key instrument to the international community's work towards a more sustainable use of oceans. In looking forward, we highlight new and existing challenges for the oceans that we share together, including the climate crisis and its impact on lives and livelihoods, particularly for SIDS, illegal fishing, marine plastic pollution, maritime security, and fisheries-related economic development. SIDS contribute the least to the problem of climate change, and yet we, island states, are among the most vulnerable and heavily impacted by the effects of sea level rise, marine resource depletion, and ocean acidification. The establishment of EEZs by UNCLOS was an enormous achievement for international peace and stability, but it's now a paradigm that's being questioned due to rising sea levels. We reiterate the PIF landmark declaration on preserving maritime zones in the face of climate change-related sea level rise, which is firmly grounded in UNCLOS. We ask for support and endorsement from member states on this issue, which is so keenly linked to our sovereign rights. Another major issue we urge the international community to act upon is marine plastics pollution. In Palau, our once pristine beaches, one of the great draws of our tourism-based economy, are being littered with plastic pollution with labels we can't read, with our marine and wildlife being threatened in the process. Recognized by UNEA and following the adoption of Resolution 5/14, the negotiations to reach a legally binding plastics treaty have now begun. We call upon all member states to not spare any efforts in resolving the issues of plastics pollution across the world. We also urge all parties to work towards concluding treaty texts for biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction IGC5 efforts, as the preservation and fair and equitable sharing of benefits of biodiversity in areas beyond national jurisdictions is long overdue. The high seas is the tie that binds us, and without solid governance of them in place, any solutions for the oceans would be disjointed and ineffective. Palau also feels that it's crucial to also focus our efforts on sustaining resources in the high seas that are still intact, including the international seabed. Palau is a champion of the moratorium on deep-sea mining. The deep sea makes up 90% of the marine environment, and we feel that we need to tread very carefully with data and science before we attempt to extract its resources. We strongly encourage the global community to enact serious reform of the International Seabed Authority and international regulations that comply with UNCLOS's mission to preserve and protect the marine environment before any nation is allowed to contract for deep-sea mining projects. We also encourage dialogue about how we can build ocean economies of the future. How can we use data and technology to measure our output and move towards sustainability? A useful example of this is Norway's utilization of artificial intelligence in salmon farming. Working with private company Tidal, Norway's salmon farmers have been using a combination of new camera technology as well as machine learning and machine perception to track and model fish behaviors, environmental conditions, and the health of salmon over time. We similarly recognize innovations by companies like Lollyware that created a seaweed-based substitute for single-use plastics. By farming sustainable seaweed, they created new ocean economy jobs, contribute to carbon sequestration, and present a viable solution to the global plastics problem. If we work with the ocean and not against it, we feel like it might contain the solutions for the challenges we face. As we look towards the next 40 years of UNCLOS, we call on us to build upon it towards a blue revolution. Let's work together as member states, together with the private sector and civil service, for a new ocean paradigm. We owe it to our future generations to come together to build towards the sustainable use of mankind's common heritage. Thank you.
Distinguished representative of Palau,